Good morning, brothers and sisters. It is March the 4th, Friday, March the 4th. Are you enjoying all the change? Are you enjoying your awakening? Are you going for walks? Are you resting when you need to rest, but eating healthy? Being more aware of your surroundings, of you, of this God machine called a body that we get to inhabit? Are you enjoying the change? Are you hoping to get back to normal? That one's cracking me up. I'm hearing people, I just wanted to go back to normal. You mean normal slavery? You mean normal lies? You mean, the veil, the breaking away from God, the perversions, the murders, killing all the babies, 60 million murdered babies since 1974? When the Supreme Court decided on a law that some lower judge, very unconstitutional, uh, decided in some case that allowed us to just mass murder babies? You want to just go back to normal? There's no going back. Do you understand that? Who wants to go down to the depths of hell when you're heading towards heavenly places? We're goodly godly. We don't need to live in the bankster slave mindset. God says you are to be free. It is to come through responsibility. And change is what brings growth. And if you want it to be like it used to be, you've still got your head up your ass. You're still asleep. You need to keep waking up. What happens when the ostrich gets, his head stuck in the sand? The lion comes and eats him even easier. But he thinks he's not seeing anything, so he's safe. As far as that goes. They don't really do that, but I mean they turn their eggs in the hot sand. But anyway, it's a funny story that is often used to prettify the term that I used, that is an impossibility, yet really, because you would be covered with shit, that really gets the point across better. It's filthy to live in the land of lies. It's perverse to be at war against goodness and love and light. It's wicked, and wicked means evil, folks. It means evil. So you're saying evil good, wicked good, evil good. Only twisted, broken mirror perverts would even come up with a saying like that. And you take a term, awesome, inspiring awe, which always implied Godhead. Awesome would be something that involved the miraculous, the supernatural, which is God, which is how we connect to each other, which is Holy Spirit. And then you want to say, and then it's been perverted. Just two quick examples, right? I mean, I could do hundreds of them, because they've perverted the words and how we use them. And then they obfuscate our meaning and redesign it every 10 years, now 5 years, now 1 year. Every year, the word's getting new definitions by the thought police. And then pretty soon, you won't, every word will mean everything. And every word will mean nothing. That's the goal. Except we're stopping it. I still can't believe people are watching the nightly news thinking it's real. It's cracking me up. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee the truth. And once you deepen your discernment, you're right in the facts. As Rush Limbaugh used to say, I'm the mayor of Realville. I used to get a kick out of him. Now we find out he might not even been who he said. But he was still goodly godly. And he was still human. But he was a good man. And is a good man. Let's put it that way. From what I'm seeing. Let's just say change is great, but not just for the sake of change. To grow, to walk like God says we are to walk in his footsteps. He showed us how to walk out our lives and said, you guys are going to do it too. And not only that, you're going to do more than what I've done. That's what Jesus tells us in his living word. You, each one of us, that's me too, are Jesus Christ when we have the Holy Spirit thriving within us and we're doing the work. He stresses this over and over and over again, do the work. And I'm like, what is the work? What is the work? Do your job? Well, what's your job? Is it what they say it is, or is it what God says it is? What does God say it is? Well, if you want to know, open the Bible, do some research. That is the owner's manual of you and me and us, society. It's all based law, the Constitution, our freedom, our rights. It's all based on what God says we are to be. So you can get some of that in observing the wilderness places. You can get some of that in contemplation and prayer, meditation, and walking, and thinking and loving and helping each other. But it's all in the Bible. So you open that right up to the middle and then go a little to the right until you get to the 4 Gospels. Matthew, Mark, John, Luke. And you will quickly see what Jesus says we are to be. And remember, when he's talking to great crowds of people, it's different than when he's talking to the Pharisees who were trying to find reasons to kill him, to twist the law into what they wanted it to be instead of what God says it is, and his disciples. So there's 3 different ways he speaks, and a lot of parables were spoken when he knew, because he knows what you're thinking. He knew what they were thinking when they were sincerely approaching God or when they were trying to find fault in as an excuse to kill him. I mean, they made up total lies But, they didn't care because they had to kill him because he was true. He was teaching us about the power of love and God. And so change is constant and it's good. And we as the human race, as the race of mankind, one race, just one. That's what God says. Many nations, one race, mankind, sovereign, members of this race. So it's not a race, it's mankind. There's no race, we're not racing. That's turned against each other. That's the lies, that's the cracked mirrors, that's the liars, cabal, deep state, swamp, all those words. Evil, destruction, perverted. Perverted means to twist, twisted, perverted. That's all it means. If you're a pervert, you've been twisted. They try to do it earlier and earlier. So you want to go back to normal. What exactly would that be? Sit around every moment you have for free and get yourself programmed by other people's visions of twistedness? Go back to normal? Is that really what you want? Be careful what you ask for. And you want to see the whole truth, all the truth, everything. You want it all dropped right in your lap. Really? Be careful what you ask for. You want to go down under that temple of evil on the island, on Pedo Island, and take part in those? You want to see that? You really want to see that? Down into the dumbs that are supposedly closed for 25 years since the Cold War ended, 40 years ago, whatever, 35. And, we're not using those anymore, except they were, but not for what they were designed initially, a lot of them, for. Yeah. Bring your barf bags. You want to see everything? Be careful what you ask for. Do you really want to see 60 million shredded babies? Really? You want to see it all. You want it all. You want to see it all. And that's just the official count, not what they were doing in the dumbs. Do you want to see it all mixed into the ground beef at the fast food places? Do you want to see yourself eating a baby? You really want to see everything. You need to be careful what you ask for. Why don't you start seeing the light? There's one expression they didn't twist up. I see the light. Of course, you don't hear that too often anymore, do you? I see the light, meaning I comprehend a thing now better than I did before. That's growth. That's change for the better, not just for the just to say, oh, this is new and it's totally awesome because it's new. Sorry. Utterly ridiculous, said the farmer as he milked his cow. So, it's good. Be ready to grow. Not everybody's going to grow, and not everybody is going to know, and not everybody is going to go where humanity is bound. Think about that word. But bound is tied and bound is a destination. Those are almost like two opposite things. So what's real? Get yourself an old dictionary like this, Webster's Ninth New Collegiate from the 80s or older, and look it up. See, the Webster Dictionary is great because it gives sources, roots of the words, some of the old languages that they came from, and a lot of them, when they start, a lot of the words even have like 15th century when they came into being used. So look it up. Take a second. I keep this, as you saw, right there. That's where it always is, right there. I also have a thesaurus or two. I have a Spanish-English dictionary. Look at this old thesaurus. This old thesaurus is missing its back cover. It's been used. See, it's been used. Yeah, these things are on the internet, but they can monkey around with everything on the internet too easily. They can't come into my house and change what's in this. Now, in the newer versions, I'm sure the word awesome has a definition of great or good or neat or cool. But in here, it shows you how it was originally connected to God. And I even hear writers misusing it. Well, if you want to be accurate, you need to know where the words came from. Because English, look at English, this is 1,000 or so pages, right? Yeah, almost 1,500. That's English. It's like there's so many different words. There's great words that can be used more precisely than other words. Here's an interesting thing. That's a wheel. So you don't always use the same word. It's a wheel of words and their usage. These would be synonyms. And then as you look those up, like several on the side might mean one thing, and then all these like 7 or 8, 9 might mean this. So these ones that come out from the center have more specific meaning that imply fear or happy or sad or whatever it is. Disgust, surprise. And then, so you can be more specific. If you're writing, it matters. But even if you're speaking, people judge you by the words you use. Well, people shouldn't judge me. That's not fair. Well, it isn't, but it's real. Welcome to Realville. You are judged. You're judged by the way you look. People look at me. Oh, he's got a beard, Okay. Oh, he's dirty. He's a dirty hippie. I mean, what does that even mean? I take baths. I'm not a hippie. Hippies, even the root of that, people don't understand. There were people pretending to be cool, hip, hipsters. Hipsters is a hippie. They just cut their hair different to look cool according to the newer, more manicured rules. But anyway, change. It's here. It's continuing. It's good. Fear not. The angels, every time they come in the Bible, down to people, the first thing they say is, fear not. So obviously they're quaking in their boots. They're always harbingers of change, and this sudden change of a spiritual power coming from the heavens, from the spirit world down to the earth realm will shake you up. So fear not. Now, calm yourself. You can learn how to grow. That's where the angels, that most of the angels that show up in the Bible are messenger angels. So they're bringing news of great change, announcing Jesus' birth, or telling Mary she's going to have Jesus, or making other announcements. There are a few that are warrior angels that come and destroy cities, but it's not random. You just have to go check it out. But fear comes with change, and we're definitely seeing that, aren't we? Bewildered people, confused people. So Jesus in the Bible, right? He'll give a speech, and there's people that laugh at him. There's people that hate him. There's people that worship him. There's people that follow him. There's people that want to learn from him. There's people that love him. All these different people to the very same speech, you know? If he's giving like one of the world's greatest comprehensions of how to get closer to God, and he's teaching this for free, you know? And then yet there's people that mock him. Don't be surprised when that happens to you. Don't change what you know is real because someone else doesn't understand it, doesn't relate to the truth. Don't let that affect your heart. As we're changing, we have to be patient. As we're changing, we have to realize. Use your real eyes. Realize. Eyes to see, ears to hear. Patience, forgiveness, loving kindness, and strength, boldness, wisdom, power. Humbleness. Can you be powerful and humble? Of course. Jesus washed his servants' feet. That was something usually slaves would have done. Only slaves would have washed a master's feet. And here he was, you know, stripping down to his loincloth, so to speak, and towel over his shoulder and washing all their feet with a bowl of water. You know, you wear sandals all day. See how your feet look. Some of his followers even said, "Don't do that," because by all rights he was doing something a slave should have done. But he's the Alpha and Omega, the creator of all things. And here he is washing my foot. We've seen him heal this disgusting leprosy with bits of your bodies falling off and decayed and your eyes rotting out, open pussy sores dripping everywhere. You can't eat. You got a bell around your neck because you can't go into the towns, and you can't get near people because it's very contagious. And he goes up and just washes them clean, just heals them immediately. Blind people, he just spits in mud and puts it in their eye. Like people are like, what? No one's ever done this before. What are you talking about? The blind guy, people knew these people. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people were healed. If all the stories were told, you couldn't even put them in books. The books would overflow all the shelves in the world. So what we're told, the dozens or hundreds of different healings that we see in the Bible, they're just a little snapshot of this huge, huge thing that was going on. 3.5 years of his ministry in that area, in just that area, like Jerusalem to Galilee, sort of that little area. Just think about what's going on now with all the people who heal and drive away the demons and feed and cleanse and clothe and teach about Jesus. Imagine how much more we are doing. Not that we're more powerful, but we have his teachings, his action based on God's teachings. See, God is your Savior. Even in the Old Testament, he wanted to be their saving grace. And he was always trying to do things to save the people. But we're kind of stubborn sometimes, even in our foolishness. And fear is about the ugliest thing. Right up there with its evil twin, hatred and jealousy. I guess that would be triplets. Anyway, they travel together, these evil spirits. So, of course, there's hatred, jealousy, fear. I mean, they are so interconnected. Just think about how one spawns the other, spawns the other, spawns the other. Doubt, lies. I mean, imagine living in that and then thinking that's normal and I want to go back to that. How many drugs are you on? How many pharmaceuticals? Don't say I am. I'm just being silly. It's 0, okay? I'm not making some Masonic sign. Don't lose your mind here. We're trying to grow our minds, not lose our minds. So there is a lot. There's just so much going on. But just know that you need to keep moving, take that action. Don't go, don't do knee-jerk reactions to everything you hear. I'm laughing my butt off. There's so many funny things going on right now. I mean, you see these crisis actors with the blood, and then they back up, and there's cameras, and they're setting it up, and these people are running, and then they back up, and they're like, 1, 2, 3, and then you see them. They're filming it. They're like, they're getting them to run. It's all stage, not on a stage, but staged. Some of it is on stage. Some of it's CGI. And some of it's these actors. There's people in Syria when they were doing their thing there a few years ago. There were people the kids. They use the kids in these. It's so sick. And they're always twisting the kids up. What do you think the kids see when they're aware of this kind of foolishness? It's evil. I mean, it's not light. I'm not being light about it. I'm making it lighter only because that's what my heart needs. See, you need to make sure you're sending love into the world. So don't get caught up in the hate and the fear and the lying. There's a lot of good things going on in Ukraine right now. Don't be obsessed with it. It's really a little place far away from us for the most part. And I'm not saying it's not important, but it's being presented as some kind of catastrophe, and it isn't. They're cleaning out the child trafficking. Russia threw out all the world bankers years ago, and they hate him. I mean, there's tons of video of Klaus Schwab, Anal Schwab, and these people saying how they have to destroy Russia because they are ruining the one world government plans. Well, don't you think he's in cahoots with Trump? Because that's what Trump's doing too. And he hasn't stopped. And he's still president. You know that. He's not the fake one. He's not the resident houseplant one. He's the goodly godly one. He has the hand of God upon him. I think Putin does too. And soon you're going to see that China has been wiping the CCP away because that's all part of the one world government, people. Marxism was a one world government plan. And the banksters, started that whole thing that took over Russia. They trained Lenin. They financed Stalin, one of the worst mass murderers ever. A couple of them. So you need to keep opening your mind. What is the deal with Tartaria? That's what I'm really fascinated with, how they took this nation that was most of Europe and Asia, at least center to North Asia. There was China, but China was very tiny compared to Tartaria. And then all of a sudden it just shrank and shrank and shrank and shrank, and then it wasn't there at all. I mean, that's not in the history books, but you can see it if you study history, because you can find the old maps. So what was that? How come cities were wiped out with mud? How come we don't hear anything about that? How come the settlers were out west just barely surviving, a wagon with everything that they needed for their existence, and they're building these temples and huge monuments like in ancient Rome when they were the center of the friggin' Mediterranean region. And they were pretty much all powerful. But how did those settlers didn't build those. They founded these towns. How come they use that term, founded? What were they finding? Why did they destroy so much of this amazing stuff? They broke some of it up and used it for their living spaces, and some of the capitals and in some of the cities are ancient structures. So that's not La La Land. It's facts. But we don't know how it's connected because we've been disconnected. We've been lied to. How far are you willing to unwind those lies? It's a challenge, but more and more people are seeing the reality and comprehending the truth, and it's setting us free. So I just wanted to say, don't be afraid of change, but don't go willy-nilly making changes of everything at once. if you're going to tear down, if the system is collapsing, we don't have to tear it down. They're destroying themselves with all their lies. You can't keep lying like that forever. So the liars are done. The evil will get cleansed, but we all have to be a part of that. And so we need to have plans, and there's lots of people making these plans and having some great input into the new systems that will be less intrusive, more free inspiring, awe inspiring. See, I say awe inspiring now because awesome's been ruined for 10 years, maybe a little more. Totally. I'm not going to say it. Ruined. So, awe inspiring, it's too long to corrupt. Usually what they corrupt is 1 to 2 syllables long. Much easier to make a twisted mantra out of 1 or 2 syllables. But if you do 3 or 4, forget it. You've lost the left brain animal fear thinkers. So be loving. You are well loved. I love you so much. I hope that helped you a little bit. Stay calm. Remember those deep breathing exercises I've talked about. Go for walks. Put the love out. It is amazing right now as more people are waking up and they're talking about things. We're getting messages. We're getting messages that are uniting, that are collaborating. Now, oh, there's a better word I can't think of right now. Oh, it's they're sort of when I see some of these other people making videos, the stuff they say that I don't always know anything about, or I haven't been told personally. But then there's a lot of things from all these different people that I watch that they're saying what I'm being told at around the same time I'm hearing it. And so it's like it's meshing, might be a good word. It's backing up what I've been told. They're being told, and we don't know each other. And it might be a week or 2 before or after I've heard it. And then I'm hearing it. And I'm hearing it before I hear it from people. I'm hearing it from Holy Spirit. Like I said, he was telling me about the Great Awakening for about 4 years and getting me, and I thought I was just practicing, well, it was practicing interacting with Holy Spirit, his voice, hearing it, shutting that enough to hear it. And so I thought it was part of the practice that he was just getting me to listen. And this Great Awakening, there's been other Great Awakenings, so this is another great awareness coming. And it's like, no, this is the Great Awakening of all Great Awakenings. The is like capital THE, the Great Awakening. So I didn't hear other people talking about that. And then the last 2 years, I've started to hear more people talk about this. And I've been, doing more videos over the last year. Started maybe a couple years ago, a year and a half ago. But I never thought I'd be making videos like this. And part of my whole comprehension of God is simple rhythms, simple flowing. As complex as all these interconnectednesses are or seem, We need to keep it simple. That's part of systems that I'm seeing, that I'm developing, is a way to keep it connected into the wilderness. Don't lose that touch. When I hear these people talking about transhuman, it's so evil. I can't believe anyone is, but they're talking about it seriously. Like, oh, this will be great when we can just, chip every person. Or they won't have to be chipped because now they're letting us inject it into them, and then we'll be able to hack them. They will not be free people anymore, and that will be better. That will really help us out a lot. That's what they are saying. I mean, they're just so brazen about their evil. They don't even see it as evil because they think they're smarter and better than us. So they've lost touch with God. So whoever's stronger, whoever has the biggest weapon, and the best plan is the best, right? That's the left side crap thinking. And we're just seeing it now. It's so exposed because of the last 2 years. This, not that all this happened in 2 years. It's happened in 20, 40, 100 years. I mean, Abraham Lincoln was aware of some of this stuff. John Kennedy was aware of some of this stuff. Ronald Reagan was aware of some of this stuff. And then Donald Trump's been aware of a lot of this stuff for 40 years. So, I mean, behind the scenes, things have been happening. But that it's coming out so fast and furious right now, and that main states of evil are being brought down, like the Khazarian center of the global banksters. One of the big ones was Kazakhstan, and one of the big ones was Ukraine. Tons of tunnels, tons of children being rescued right now. And you won't see it in the regular news. You have to get people on the ground who are getting this information out to us. They can't stop it. They can try to cut the internet down. Well, people have zip drives, whatever you want to call them now. And people can get this information out one way or another. And there's a lot of these, of the dark internet that they can't shut down, even when they try to shut it down. So what they call the dark internet is the light internet. You have to remember it's all mirrors. To the ones that are evil, they have no creativity. They only steal from us, who are creative. The right brain people are the creators. But they reverse everything because they're stuck. They can't get to the pineal. They can't get to God. Wow. Okay. I was going to jump on here for 10 minutes. Now it's 40. So wrap it up. I'll see you soon. And just, it's never going back to the way it was because that was wrong. It was so away from what God wants for us. I think I'll just trust with what God says we are. I don't need to be told that I'm androgynous, I'm just the same as a woman, or, I can hack my parts off and that's fine if that makes me feel better, or I can murder babies if it helps me to get my career going better, then so be it. I can have sex any which way I want, whenever I want, wherever I want, with 20 people if I want. If it makes me feel good, I can do it. No, that's not what God said. It's not what he says. It's not true. It's part of the lies. But we're not going back to that. We're just not. Get your discernment, guys. Get your discernment. You need to get your discernment. Keep growing it. Get your relationship back with God. He loves you so much. He's waiting for you. If you think That's wrong. Ask. Ask him. You don't think he exists? Ask him. Hey, God, this bonehead from Maine keeps talking about you all day long. I want to throw up. I don't think you exist. If you exist, tell me. Talk to me. Then you have to shut up and listen. Now, if you're being spiteful and whiny about it, you might get ignored too. But if you really want to know, if you really, truthfully seek knowledge, then I would think you'd want to know how it is, just the eyeball itself. How could that have ever evolved? A bumblebee. How could it ever have evolved? It shouldn't even be able to fly. Your eyeball couldn't evolve. A strand of DNA. How did that evolve? That theory is so flawed, it's laughable now. But even back in the 1800s, Darwin knew it was flawed as soon as nucleic acids and anything like that started to be discovered in the early 1900s, mid 1900s would be the end. I mean, they saw that these things, if they progressed anymore from what he would have known, that his whole theory was done. And you know, a lot of it was just designed by college kids who hated God, who wanted to prove God didn't exist. That's a great way to start your scientific research, since science is actually supposed to be discovering the nature of God. That's what science is. Just like I talked about yesterday, art is to show forth the great love of God and the goodness of mankind, and it's, devolved into a half a cow with a human leg sticking out of the side. Oh, challenge is off. Oh, how wonderful. Oh, how shocking. Oh, urine in a jar. Oh, how avant-garde. Please. Creativity doesn't have to be shocking. It should be beautiful. That's art. So, see, those are cracked mirrors. That's why I say cracked mirrors. Because not only is it upside down, it's like smashed into spiderweb. Cracked mirrors. So anyway, really good things. But there's challenges, of course. Part of growing is learning. Part of learning is tough. It's hard to believe that we could have been lied to so much. It's easy to be deceived. It's hard to be convinced that you've been deceived. And what's really hard is to find the truth through all those lies. But it's okay. We have time. We're eternal. So I love you, and I'm going to get going. Be good. Catch you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. And remember, if you hit the like button and subscribe or follow, whatever the different things, I am on Rumble, YouTube, BitChute, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all that stuff. So just trying to get the word out, trying to make sure that we keep connecting. Tell me where you're from. I'm very interested in seeing how we're reaching each other into all the different corners of the realm. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time right now. It's even going to get better. It's going to get better beyond what you can even imagine. And I have a great imagination, so I can't wait. I can't wait. I want to sing with the crystal trees. I mean, wow. That's not beyond possibilities. God is the supernatural God. Supernatural is natural to the creator of all things who spoke a word and there was light, who blew his breath into the ground and it was Adam, and then it was Eve, and then it was you and me. So you can be a mocker, you can be a laugher, or you could be a seeker of knowledge. I'm a seeker of knowledge, and I don't mind sharing what I find because I'm not afraid. I don't care. You can mock me. Don't you know? You can attack me. You can try that. It's gonna come back at you 2 or 3 times harder. Go on. There goes the cat making his great entrance. See if there's a door shut. He can't stand it, right? Cats and people aren't really that different. What's on the other side of the door? I gotta see it. If it closes behind me, I want to go back there. And you say dog's best, man's best friend. That's true, but don't sell God and cats short either. I love you. Don't be stuck. Don't be in fear. And get out there and go for a walk in the woods. Go jump in a stream. Go drink some water. If you know where the source is, that's from a friggin' bubbling brook. That is so good. Oh, I love it when I find those. Bubbling spring, right up from the ground. Oh, that water's so good. Anyway, love ya. See you soon. Bye. Didn't stop. Uh-oh. Well, I don't seem to be able to get this to stop today. Why would that happen?